My golden child sister crushed my brand new Toyota Supra and told me, Mom and Dad will make calm forgive me. Weeks later, they tried forcing me to pay the deductible until I filed the claim in her name, making her owe me $40,000 she can't escape. Hey Reddit, my whole family spent years treating me like the backup character in my own life. So I said screw it, cut the cord, and built everything myself. But apparently, that wasn't enough for them. They still found a way to screw me over. Before I get into the explosion that followed, let me start at the beginning. Name's Nate Anderson, 28. I work in IT support for a mid-sized logistics company. Nothing glamorous, nothing fancy, just stable. My family? Complicated is the polite version. My parents, Diane and Gary, act like everything I do belongs to the family. And my younger sister Riley is the golden child who throws a fit every time someone else gets attention. That's the basic layout. Anyway, for years I had one goal sitting in the back of my mind. A Toyota GR Supra 2.0, model year 2022. No backup from anybody, no loans from family, nothing. If I wanted it, I'd earn it myself. So that's what I did. I cut down on extras, took every overtime shift I could get, and drove my old sedan until the doors practically needed a prayer to close. People would joke about that car, but I didn't care. Every mile I squeezed out of it was money staying in my savings. By last month, the numbers in my bank app finally looked like something real. Not rich real, but I can finally go buy the car real. Today, I went and did it. I sat in the parking lot outside the dealership for a minute, just looking at the building. No butterflies, no dramatic moment. Just a plain, direct thought. You worked for this. Go get it. Inside, a salesman came over and tried his usual pitch, but I already knew the exact model and trim I wanted. We walked the lot, he unlocked the Supra, and even though I tried to stay cool, the car looked better in person than any picture online. Clean lines, sharp angles, everything tight and solid. It looked fast even while parked. Paperwork took forever, which I expected. I kept checking my bank app, running numbers again even though I'd done it 100 times. It wasn't nerves. It was habit. I sign nothing unless I know exactly what I'm signing. When everything went through and they handed me the keys, something clicked. Not emotional, not tearful. Just this sharp, satisfying feeling like I finally leveled up in my own life without anyone else's fingerprints on it. Sliding into the driver's seat for the first time felt surreal in a practical way. The seat hugged tighter. The wheel felt right. The cabin smelled brand new. Not like a showroom, but like no one else had ever touched it. I noticed details instantly. The stitching, the weight of the wheel, the way the screen lit up. I didn't sit there soaking it in for an hour or anything corny like that. I adjusted the seat, checked the mirrors, turned the engine on, and it fired up smooth. That alone made the years of saving worth it. The moment I left the dealership lot, I pulled over long enough to text the one person who'd understand the win without making it about themselves. Leo. Got it. Supra's mine. He called immediately. Didn't even wait for me to answer the text. Brother, you actually did it? You bought the grown man trophy car? Oh my God, the jealousy that's about to flood your orbit. Please wear sunglasses to protect yourself. I could practically hear him pacing in circles. Listen, he kept going. People are going to start acting weird now. I'm telling you. Folks see you upgrade your life and suddenly they remember every time you didn't hold the door for them back in the 4th grade. Stay dangerous. I told him I was on my way to my parents' place because I wanted to show them. That set him off again. Nate, please. Riley's going to act like you bought her a car. She's going to be outside posing before you even park. I laughed once, not because he was wrong, but because I could literally picture it. Still, I figured I'd swing by anyway. Despite all their flaws, they were still my family. And I wanted at least 5 minutes of a normal, hey, good job moment. The drive over felt different than any drive I'd taken in years. The Supra handled clean, hugged turns without effort, and accelerated like it wasn't even trying. For once, I didn't feel like I was struggling through life. I felt like I had something to show for the work I put in. As I pulled off the highway into my parents' neighborhood, I tightened my grip on the wheel for a second. Not nerves, just awareness. I knew Riley. She hated when someone else had a moment. Especially me. Still, I turned onto their street anyway. I'd worked too hard for this to hide it. I slowed into the driveway, Supra gleaming under the sun, and thought one simple thing. Let's see how fast Riley tries to make this about her. I parked the Supra in my parents' driveway and stepped out expecting something. A smile, a congrats, maybe a nice car, Nate. Bare minimum human reactions. Instead, Diane poked her head out the front door, Like I'd just shown up with groceries she forgot she ordered. "Oh, you're here," she said, completely flat. Gary waddled out behind her with the same energy people use when they check the mail. He glanced at the Supra and gave this half nod like it belonged to all of us by default. No shock, no pride, no interest. Just that bland family entitlement they've mastered. Before I could even process that, I heard a high-pitched squeal from the side of the house. "Oh my God, Nate, you didn't tell me you bought the cool version." Here she comes. Riley practically sprinted across the lawn, fake excitement dialed to maximum volume. Her attention was never about celebrating me. It was about creating a scene. She circled the Supra like she was inspecting a prize someone gifted her. "I love this color," she said loudly, even though the paint was literally the most neutral shade on the lot. "It looks so good next to me, wow." She struck a pose next to the door like she was modeling for a car commercial nobody asked for. Diane and Gary finally walked closer, but instead of looking at me, they were watching Riley like she was a celebrity filming a commercial in their driveway. "Riley, you look adorable next to it," Diane said. Gary nodded. "Yeah, it suits her." Suits her. Not a single word to me. The guy who just bought the car with his own money. Riley leaned down, yanked the driver door handle, and swung it open like she was entering her own vehicle. "I'm driving," she announced, already sliding one foot inside. I stepped forward, calm and direct. "No, you're not." She froze and turned her head slowly like a cartoon villain. "What do you mean, no? I just said I'm driving." "Yeah," I said. "And I just said you're not. See how that works?" She blinked in disbelief. Riley wasn't used to being denied anything. Diane and Gary taught her early that her wants outrank everyone else's needs. Riley scoffed. "Seriously? Don't be annoying. You just got it. Let me take it around the block. I won't crash it or anything." Funny how that was the first thing she clarified. "No," I repeated. "It's not happening." Riley's face twisted, her voice going sharp. "You're being selfish. It's one drive, Nate. Literally one. Every normal brother would let his sister try his car." "I'm not every brother," I said, unfazed. "And it's not your car." That set her off. "Oh my God," she snapped. "You act like you're better than all of us just because you finally bought something decent. Relax. You don't have to hoard it like a weirdo." Behind her, Diane rolled her eyes, like I was the one causing a scene. "Nate, let her drive. Don't be difficult." Gary stepped in too. "Yeah, she's excited. Don't ruin the moment." My moment. Interesting wording choice. Riley folded her arms across her chest and smirked like she'd already won. That was her favorite move. Get the parents involved, let them apply pressure, and ride the entitlement wave straight to whatever she wanted. I didn't move. Didn't raise my voice. Didn't budge an inch. "She's not driving the Supra," I said calmly. "Not now. Not ever." Riley's mouth fell open like she couldn't believe the world dared to oppose her. Diane made an irritated clicking noise with her tongue, the sound she always used when she thought I was being overdramatic for wanting basic respect. "Honestly, Nate," Diane snapped, "you're making a big deal out of nothing." Riley jumped in, voice shrill. "Yeah, stop acting like you're special because you own a car. Nobody cares. I just want a quick drive." "You're not getting it," I said. "That door stays shut unless I open it." Riley glared at me with this look she always gets when someone tells her no, like she's calculating the next angle. She backed away from the door slowly, jaw clenched. I could almost hear the gears turning in her head. While she pretended to mess with her phone, I slipped mine out and texted Leo. "She already tried to steal the driver's seat. Brother, lock your keys. Like, physically put them in a bank vault." She smelled the victory before you even parked. Do not let her test drive anything but her attitude. I snorted under my breath. He wasn't wrong. Riley looked up after a moment, her face way too calm. That alone was the warning sign. Riley only got quiet when she was planning something. She stepped back from the Supra, gave me a tight smile that didn't reach her eyes and said, "Fine. Whatever." That fine didn't mean fine. It meant I didn't get my way now, but I will. She turned and walked toward the house, shoulders stiff, hands clenched. The kind of walk she does when she's brewing a scheme. And the whole time, I could feel her eyes burning into the back of my head, like she was already deciding how to get control of something that didn't belong to her. I sent Riley one text at 9:07 p.m., just so there was no wiggle room. To be absolutely clear, you do not have my permission to drive the Supra. Do not touch my keys. The rest of the evening at my parents' place was exactly what I expected. Riley pretending I didn't exist, Diane acting irritated that I hadn't softened up, and Gary mumbling about the chicken being dry, like that was the biggest problem happening in the house. Same old dynamics. A little after 9:15 p.m., I remembered I left a few things in my old sedan and went upstairs to grab a jacket. I set my keys, my Supra keys, on the entryway table by the stairs. 2 minutes, maybe 3. That's all. When I came back down, the first thing I noticed was silence. Not the normal, everyone's watching TV silence. It was the kind of silence where something's off. My keys weren't on the table. I didn't even bother checking other spots. I knew I didn't misplace them. My eyes went straight to the door, and the porch light bleeding through the blinds told me everything. I stepped outside. The driveway was empty. My Supra was gone. The anger hit instantly, sharp and clean. Not panic, anger. Cold enough that it actually made things clearer instead of fuzzier. I pulled out my phone and called Riley. Straight to voicemail. Not even one ring. She sent me there intentionally. I tried again. Voicemail. Then I texted her, "Bring my car back now." Nothing. "Riley, I'm not playing with you. Get back here now." Still nothing. Inside the house, I heard Diane moving around, so I walked back in. "Riley took my keys," I said, voice steady. Gary didn't even look up from the TV. "She probably just wanted a quick drive. Don't make it a whole thing." A whole thing. Diane waved her hand. "Relax, Nate. You always get so intense. She'll bring it back in a few minutes." "She stole my car," I said flatly. "That's not a misunderstanding. That's theft." Diane rolled her eyes like I'd told her the weather hurt my feelings. "Stop exaggerating. You know how she gets when she's excited. She gets entitled," I said. "And you let her." That's when my phone rang. Unknown number. My stomach didn't drop. My heart rate didn't spike. I already knew what this call was. I answered. "This is Nate." A calm male voice spoke. "Mr. Anderson? This is Officer Patel with the County Police Department. Are you the owner of a 2022 Toyota GR Supra?" "Yes." "There's been an accident involving your vehicle. The driver is unharmed, but who was driving?" I cut in. "A young woman who identified herself as Riley Anderson." Exactly the outcome I expected. "Where?" I asked. He gave me the location. I hung up without adding anything else. Diane was staring at me like I'd just interrupted her favorite show. "What?" she said. "Your daughter crashed my car," I told them. "Police are there." Diane gasped, but not at the right thing. "Oh my God. Is she okay?" I ignored that. Riley always landed on her feet. "It's everybody else who paid the price." "I'm heading there," I said. I was already walking toward the door. Gary called out, "Don't go there angry. She didn't mean it." I didn't even respond to that mess. The second I got in my old sedan and pulled out of the driveway, I called Leo. He answered on the first half ring. "Brother, you okay? Why do I feel chaos in the air?" "She stole the Supra," I said. "Crashed it." Leo unleashed a noise somewhere between a yell, a cough, and a dramatic gasp. "I knew it. I told you. I literally said lock your keys in a bank vault. She did not just, oh my God, she did. She actually did." "She did," I said. He wasn't even close to done. "No. Nope. That's not family behavior. That's not siblings fight sometimes. That is straight up disrespect with horsepower attached." I could hear him pacing hard. "Listen to me carefully. I have lived this exact movie. Not with a car, but with my life savings and my cousin Trent. Long story. But point is, they will try to spin this on you. Stay sharp. Do not let anyone flip this narrative." "I won't," I said. "Good," he replied. "Because I swear if your parents try to say something like, 'Don't be dramatic one more time,' I'm driving over there myself to accidentally trip in their living room." "Save the energy," I said. "I've got it handled." "Stay dangerous," he said. "You're walking into a battlefield." I hung up as I turned onto the road Officer Patel mentioned. I could already see the flashing lights ahead, painting the street blue and red. My jaw clenched as I pulled closer. I wasn't shaking. I wasn't spiraling. I wasn't confused. Just locked in. Riley stole my car. Riley wrecked my car. And nobody, parents, cops, random bystanders, was going to rewrite what happened. Not this time, not ever again. I parked behind the police cruiser, stepped out, and headed toward the scene cold and ready. I walked toward the flashing lights, and the damage came into view piece by piece. The front end of my Supra was folded in like a crushed can. Hood bent, bumper hanging, wheel angled wrong, the whole thing sitting at a sad tilt like it had given up. Glass scattered across the pavement, fluids pooling underneath. My stomach didn't drop. It tightened. I stood there looking at it, jaw locked. "Years of work gone in one night," I muttered. "Worse than a heartbreak, and at least heartbreak doesn't come with a repair bill." Officer Patel spotted me and walked over. "Mr. Anderson, thanks for coming. Just to confirm again, the driver walked away without injuries." I nodded once. "Good." It wasn't a warm, "good." It was the kind of good that meant I acknowledged the fact, nothing more. And then I saw her. Riley was leaning against the back of the ambulance, like she was on a break between photo shoots. Hair tossed over one shoulder, arms folded, telling the EMT some animated story with dramatic hand gestures. She wasn't crying. She wasn't shaken. She wasn't even embarrassed. She looked bored. The EMT said something and walked off, leaving Riley alone. She noticed me and gave this tiny smirk, the same one she used whenever she thought she held the upper hand. "You made it," she said, voice light. "Calm down. It's not that serious." I walked right up to her, close enough to make her drop the casual act. My tone was steady. "You stole my car." She rolled her eyes. "Oh my God, can we not start this again? I just wanted to try it. You're acting like I committed a crime." "You did," I said. "You took my keys. You took my car." I said no. "Then you crashed it." Riley shrugged, like we were discussing a spilled drink. "I barely crashed it. And Mom said you always overreact about everything, so there it was. The parents' shield. She'd already run to them with her version. "You think that's going to work this time?" I asked. She tilted her head. "It always does." A direct hit. Honest, smug, and disgusting at the same time. She stepped closer, lowering her voice like she was about to give me a friendly reminder. "You'll get over it. Mom and Dad said they'll talk to you. They'll calm you down like always. Just don't make it weird." "You're assuming I care what they think tonight," I said. That threw her. Her eyes flickered for half a second before she masked it with irritation. "Oh, please," she snapped. "Stop acting like you're some tough guy. You never hold grudges. They'll force you to chill and you know it. So just spare us all the drama and move on." "No drama," I said softly. "Just facts." She raised an eyebrow. "Which are?" "That you're responsible for every inch of damage behind me." Her expression flickered again, this time with a hint of confusion. She wasn't expecting pushback. She wasn't used to plain, hard truth stated without emotion. Before she could start one of her blow-ups, Officer Patel walked over again. "Mr. Anderson, we'll finish the formalities soon. Your sister already gave a statement." "Did she now?" I said, eyes still on Riley. He nodded professionally. "She said she was taking it with your permission." Riley shot me a sideways glance like she thought she was clever. I kept my voice calm. "She didn't have permission. I told her no." Officer Patel noted that without reaction, but with interest. "Good. At least someone here cared about details." Riley scoffed. "Wow. Really? You're going to throw me under the bus to a cop? Over a car?" "Over my property," I corrected. "Which you stole." I didn't raise my voice. I didn't get emotional. I didn't play her game. And that bothered her far more than yelling would have. "I swear you're unbelievable," she muttered. "Mom is going to lose it when she hears you're being like this." "She already lost control a long time ago," I said. "Not my problem." Riley opened her mouth again, but I'd heard enough. I turned to Officer Patel. "Let me know where it's being towed." He nodded. "Tow truck is on the way. We'll give you the address." I stepped away, leaving Riley standing there fuming in a cloud of her own entitlement. When I got back to my old sedan, I pulled out my phone and called Leo. He answered loud. "Tell me you're okay, because I've been pacing my kitchen like a stressed-out ant." "It's totaled," I said. "Or close to it." He whistled. "Brother, that's not damage. That's a statement piece titled, 'Riley Doesn't Respect You.'" I exhaled once, steady. "She thinks Mom and Dad are going to fix this for her. Like always." Leo snorted. "Of course she does. People like Riley never think they did anything wrong. They think consequences are optional if you cry hard enough." "She wasn't crying," I said. "Oh, she will," he replied. "Just wait until she realizes grown-up problems don't disappear with a pout. You better not fold on this. I'm dead serious. You fold once, you fold forever." "I'm not folding." "Good," he said. "Stay solid. Don't let her walk away clean." This is one of those moments where you either teach people how to treat you, or they teach you. He wasn't wrong. Not even close. I hung up, gripping the wheel with a clear head. No panic, no guilt, no backtracking. Riley wanted to act like I'd get over it. She had no idea what was coming. I drove off from the scene certain of one thing. This time, she wasn't escaping the consequences. And I wasn't softening for anyone. I got to the tow yard the next morning right when they opened. I wasn't expecting good news, but I at least wanted to see what was left of the Supra. As I pulled in, I saw a familiar figure standing outside the small office building. Riley. Of course. I didn't need an explanation, but I got three anyway. Diane or Gary must have told her where the car was, trying to help her handle it. Or maybe Riley called around herself after the police scene because she can't stand not being the one controlling the narrative. Either way, she got there before me, and she was already causing a scene. She was at the counter, leaning forward with her chin high, talking fast, and waving her hands like she was the CEO of something important. "No, listen," she said sharply. "I'm family. It counts. Just give me the forms." The guy behind the counter looked exhausted already. "Ma'am, like I said, I need the registered owner." "That's me," she snapped. "Well, basically me. Same household." The clerk blinked slowly. "Registration says Nathan Anderson." Riley scoffed. "Yeah, but I'm his sister." "Same thing." "It's not," the clerk said flatly. "We need a photo ID that matches the registration, or a letter from the lien holder." "Family isn't a category," she snapped. "Why is this so complicated? I'm telling you I can sign whatever. Just let me see the car." She was trying so hard to sound authoritative that she didn't notice me walk in. The clerk noticed me first, looking relieved like backup had finally arrived. "Nathan Anderson?" "That's me." Riley twisted around, eyes wide for half a second before snapping into defensiveness. "Oh, there you are," she said, like I was late for an appointment she set. "I'm trying to take care of this, but they're being ridiculous." The clerk held up a paper. "Sir, she's been trying to sign release forms for your vehicle. We can't let her. Registration doesn't match." I nodded. "Because it's not her car." Riley's face turned red instantly, and not from embarrassment. Anger. Embarrassment isn't something she feels. Being exposed, that she feels. "Nate," she hissed quietly, "don't be dramatic. Just let me fix this." I faced the clerk, ignoring her. "Show me the paperwork." He slid it over. I looked it over calmly, already knowing what I needed. Then I turned back to Riley. "Let me make this clear so everyone hears it," I said. "You don't own the Supra. You don't have access to the Supra. You don't have permission for anything related to the Supra. And you don't sign a single document with my name on it. Ever." The room went dead quiet. Riley's mouth hung open for a second, like she'd forgotten how to form words. The clerk cleared his throat. "Thank you, sir. That's all we needed confirmed." Riley found her voice again. "You're humiliating me." "No," I said. "You did that by trying to impersonate the owner of a car you totaled." She went silent, tight-lipped, shaking with anger. I walked past her, signed what I needed, got the info on where the Supra would be stored, and headed out. Riley trailed behind me, steaming, but I didn't look back. Diane and Gary were waiting at the house like they were preparing for a meeting they didn't want to have, but planned to control anyway. Riley followed me in like a shadow, ready to strike. Diane started immediately. "Why were you so harsh at the tow yard? The staff said you embarrassed your sister." "I corrected the situation," I said. "She tried to sign for a car she doesn't own." Gary raised his hands. "Fine. She made a mistake, but don't drag this out. Just cover the deductible and move on." "There is no we in that deductible," I said. Diane frowned like I'd personally offended her. "You can afford it. Don't be petty." "Not paying," I said, plain and simple. "You're being stubborn," Gary said. "No," I replied. "I'm being consistent." Riley made an annoyed noise under her breath, and Diane shot me the classic mother glare like I'd just broken a family rule. I didn't bother arguing. There was nothing to argue. Their goal wasn't fairness, it was convenience. I stood up. "I'm done talking about money." And I left before any of them could toss another line at me. Later that afternoon, I met Leo behind his building, where he was sitting on the curb eating leftover pasta from a plastic container like it was gourmet. When he saw me, he threw a hand up dramatically. "Brother, sit down. You look like someone who's holding in an earthquake." I told him what happened at the tow yard. Riley trying to sign papers. Parents demanding I pay the deductible. Their annoyed faces when I refused. Leo put his fork down and launched into a full performance. "Nate, let me tell you something," he said. "I used to let people walk all over me. Family, relationships, co-workers. I handed out free passes like coupons. And guess where it got me?" He pointed at himself. "Right here, eating day-old pasta behind a dumpster because I'm avoiding my cousin who still owes me money." I raised an eyebrow. "What does that have to do with my car?" "Everything," he said loudly. "If you teach people you'll swallow disrespect once, they'll feed it to you forever. You fold now? Congrats. You're the family rug again. They'll dust their shoes on you for sport." He jabbed a finger at me. Do not fold. I didn't plan to. His rant was half circus, half gospel, but every word was true. After leaving Leo, I headed back to my parents' house because Diane wouldn't stop texting, "We need to finish talking about this." Fine. I'd let them talk. I wasn't changing anything. The moment I walked in, Riley was in full drama mode on the couch, crying, shaking, breathing like she'd run a marathon. I can't breathe, she gasped. Diane rushed to her. Sweetheart, calm down. You're stressing yourself out. Gary glared at me. Look what you're doing to her. I stood at the doorway, arms crossed. She stole my car. Riley gasped louder, leaning into the meltdown like it was a talent show. Diane snapped, Nate, enough. You're making this worse. No, I said. She is. I didn't raise my voice. I didn't apologize. I didn't rush to comfort her. I just waited. Eventually, the fake panic slowed when she realized I wasn't buying it. When she noticed nobody was moving toward me, she quieted down, wiping her face, but keeping the tears going just in case. I looked at all of them once. We're done here. And I walked out calm, already committed to the insurance route. No hesitation, no guilt, no turning back. I drove straight from my parents' house to the insurance office. No cooling off, no second thoughts. The second Riley pulled that fake meltdown, I knew exactly what I had to do. The lobby was quiet. A couple chairs, a printer humming somewhere in the back, fluorescent lights making everything look sharper than it needed to. A man in his mid-40s with glasses looked up from his desk. Can I help you? Yeah, I said. I need to file a claim for my vehicle. Unauthorized use. He stood and offered a hand. I'm Calvin. Nate, I said. Calvin pulled the keyboard closer. All right, name for the policy? Nate Anderson. He typed it in, brought up my policy, and nodded. Okay, what happened? My sister took my 2022 Toyota GR Supra without permission last night and crashed it, I said plainly. Police responded. Tow yard has it. He paused for half a second, probably not expecting the explanation to be that blunt, then recovered. Unauthorized use means the driver wasn't allowed to operate the vehicle. We'll need proof you denied permission. I pulled out my phone and handed it to him. Texts, clear as day. He scrolled, reading my message, telling Riley she wasn't allowed to drive it, then her ignoring me and blowing me off. He kept reading until he saw the timestamps lining up with the time she took the car. He set my phone down. That's more than enough. No drama. No questioning. No. Are you sure? Just confirmation. All right, he said. In that case, liability transfers to the driver. She'll be responsible for damages. Good, I said. He clicked around for another minute before adding, given the description of the crash and the preliminary tow yard notes, you're probably looking at, let me see. He pulled up an estimate. Somewhere between $30,000 and $40,000. Based on the tow yard photos and the adjuster's notes, it will likely be declared a total loss overnight. You'll get an initial determination letter within a day or two. I nodded once. No shock, no smile, no adrenaline, just a quiet, clean sense of something landing exactly where it should. Calvin kept going. We'll pay you under collision and pursue Riley for recovery. If we collect, we reimburse your deductible. Given the police report and your timestamp text denying permission, we're waiving your deductible up front. I stood. Appreciate it. He gave me a professional nod. If she contacts us, we'll direct everything to her. You're clear. That was all I needed. I stepped out of the office into the afternoon air. It wasn't relief. It wasn't excitement. It was more like a reset. Something finally aligning after years of letting people tell me to be the calm one, the bigger person, the responsible older brother. Not this time. I walked to my old sedan, sat down, and before turning the key, I let the silence sit for a second. Not to reflect or soul search, just to enjoy the stillness after days of chaos Riley created. 2 days after I filed the claim, Riley finally realized insurance wasn't bluffing. She didn't have the finalized report yet, but she had definitely gotten calls or emails from the adjuster asking for statements. That was enough to push her into panic mode. I was leaving my apartment that afternoon when she practically ambushed me in the parking lot. She stepped out from behind a column like she'd been waiting. We need to talk, she said, blocking my path. No, you need to understand, I said. Move. But Riley didn't. She lifted her chin like she was negotiating a hostage deal. Listen, if you drop the claim, I'll do one big favor, she said. Anything. Literally anything you want. That's not how this works, I said. She switched tactics fast. Fine. I'll pay you back slowly. A little every month. If you just tell insurance you gave me permission. I actually laughed. Not a nice laugh. A cold one. You? Pay me back? I said. You couldn't even pay back the $40 you borrowed for birthday decorations 3 years ago. Her face tightened. You're being cruel. I'm trying to fix this. This whole thing blew up bigger than it had to because you escalated it. You stole my car, I said. You escalated it. She threw her hands up. I said I'll pay you back. Why isn't that enough? Because you don't get to rewrite the rules after you break them. She shifted again, voice lower, eyes wide like she was playing a sad character in a school play. If Mom and Dad see this report, they're gonna freak. You know how they get. Don't do this to them. Not my problem, I said, and not my responsibility. She jabbed a finger at me. You're heartless. Finally, I said, you're using the right word to describe how little I care about your tantrums. She backed off with a frustrated noise, knowing the conversation was over. I walked past her and didn't look back. Later that evening, I got the expected text from Diane. Dinner tonight. Be here. We need to talk. I showed up because I wanted everything laid out in front of them with no misunderstandings. The moment I walked in, I could tell they had rehearsed speeches ready. The table was set like it was a holiday meal, even though the air felt like a courtroom. Gary folded his arms. If you don't fix this, don't come to holidays. Don't talk to us for a while either, Diane added. We need space from this negativity. You're tearing this family apart, Gary said, leaning forward like he had delivered a heavy blow. I sat down calmly. Cool, I said. That's your choice. They both blinked. Diane stuttered for a second. You don't care? No, I said. I don't. Riley looked between them. Confused the threat didn't land. Gary tried again. Nate, don't be unreasonable. This is your sister. And she stole my Supra, I said. She caused the problem. She deals with the result. Diane huffed. You're being cold. Good, I said. Warm wasn't working. I reached into my jacket, pulled out the printed report the insurance office had emailed me earlier, and slid the envelope across the table toward Riley. What's this? She asked, voice already trembling. The initial determination letter, I said. Everything is processed. Liability's officially yours. She ripped it open and scanned the first page. I watched her expression collapse in real time. Confidence gone. Anger rising. Fear settling in. Her chair scraped back. 38,000? She yelled. Are you insane? I nodded. That's the current estimate. The total loss number will settle after the adjuster finishes. Diane grabbed the papers, skimmed them, and gasped like the number had slapped her. Nate, how could you let them do this to her? I didn't let anything happen, I said. She earned it. Gary pointed at me. Fix it. Call them right now. Tell them you changed your mind. No. Stop being stubborn, he snapped. This will follow her for years. It should, I said. Actions should follow people. Riley's voice hit a new level of shrill. You ruined my life. No, I said. You ruined my car. She threw the papers at me, shaking. You're a monster. And you're an adult with a bill, I said. That was the end of the conversation for me. I stood up. I'm done here. Diane stepped in front of me like she could physically block the truth. You are not walking out on this family. I brushed past her gently. This family walked out on accountability a long time ago. I'm just not playing along anymore. And I left. Later that night, someone banged on my apartment door like the building was on fire. Riley. Her hair was messy, eyes red, breathing hard. You have to undo it, she said. I can't handle this. It's done, I said. She grabbed my arm. Nate, please, I'll lose my job. I'll lose everything. You lost my car, I said. Go home. She stared at me like she didn't recognize me anymore, then stormed off down the hallway. Not even 5 minutes later, Leo called. I heard, he said. Your sister is posting vague messages online about betrayal. Congratulations. You're the villain in her one-woman show. I don't care, I said. Good, he shouted. Don't let them gaslight you into rewriting history. They'll try. They always try. He inhaled dramatically. Brother, I'm proud. This is self-respect with horsepower. Thanks, I said. No joke, he added. You set a line. Stick to it. You did what they'll never do. Teach Riley reality. I hung up and sat in the quiet of my apartment. My Supra was gone. My patience was gone. My role as the family's cleanup crew was gone. But for the first time in a long time, something else finally showed up. Peace. If you enjoyed this video, please hit that subscribe button. It really helps the channel and help us bring you more and better stories. Thanks.